Hello and welcome to the U.S. Men's Lacrosse National Team Series, Home Soil. I'm your host, Pete Medhurst. This summer, U.S. Men's Lacrosse National Teams take the field in San Diego in hopes of capturing a gold medal in this year's 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championships. U.S. National Teams been here before. They won gold at the 2018 World Championships in Israel and have been a dominant force for many years. In our last episode, we sat down with Michael Sowers. Michael showed us his hometown of Upper Dublin and shared his story about his path to World Lacrosse Men's Championships. In this episode, we will sit down with U.S. Men's National Team midfielder Charlie Bertrand. Charlie's story is unique, and his path was not always clear, but ultimately, all roads in his life have led to him representing U.S. National Teams this summer on home soil.
You have the national team, these players looking to impress.
Good coaching and execution by Team USA, and finally a little spark.
This U.S. team is absolutely loaded.
We have stars all over the field.
The 2023 World Championships are the pinnacle of the lacrosse world, and this summer, all eyes will be on San Diego. Here's a look at what fans can expect out of the World Championships in 2023. This summer, the best lacrosse players from around the world will meet at the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championships with one thing on their mind: winning gold. This year, the stakes are higher. More than 30 countries, more than 100 games, and it all takes place in San Diego, California. Some of the countries competing include the USA, Canada, Japan, England, Australia, Jamaica, Uganda, the Haudenosaunee, and many more. The World Lacrosse Championships is a unique opportunity for the world to come together to celebrate the medicine game. The host Snapdragon Stadium provides a great venue for high-level global competition that fans will love. From June 21st to July 1st, U.S. national teams will embark on a quest for greatness. 23 of the best players from the United States will look to come together as a team to attempt to claim gold for the 11th time, and they will look to do it on home soil. This year's World Championships are building up to be the best ever. Team USA will face some tough competition in their mission to keep the gold medal on home soil. When we come back, we'll hear from the pride of Merrimack College, midfielder Charlie Bertrand. Charlie Bertrand is a guy who has always had to prove himself at every level. From high school to college and now in the PLL, he still plays with a chip on his shoulder, constantly working to prove he belongs. For Charlie, this blue-collar mentality began in Baldwinsville, New York, and continued on at Merrimack College.
Bertrand scores! From Charlie Bertrand, welcome to the PLL.
Bertrand, come on!
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys coming out. I didn't get into lacrosse till 3rd grade. I'd say my first time picking up a stick was a hockey stick, probably a knee hockey stick, but I played that since I was 3 or 4 years old, and then picking up a stick in the backyard was definitely opened up your mind in terms of creativity and a different sport that is fast, it's fun, and it can be played pretty easily with just a couple guys in the backyard. I played a couple years at club, but I feel like I really played for my town more than anything. So just being able to play with some of your best friends in high school is something that I look back on and some of my favorite times in the sport. So definitely enjoyed that before I was given the opportunity to come to Merrimack College and play Division II lacrosse and also study mechanical engineering. The home soil to me means Baldwinsville, New York, and that place will always be home for me. That's where my parents live. My brother bought a house there right down the road. I look forward to going home as often as I can, and the next best thing for me in terms of home soil is right here at Merrimack College. Merrimack seems pretty far removed, even though it's only a couple years ago, so I definitely feel quite a bit of nostalgia coming back here, for sure. And when I got here, I loved the feel of the campus. I had a great relationship with Coach Morgan, and they were actually the only school to offer me.
Charlie was one of the more interesting recruiting stories that I kind of remember. Is I got a call from Rick Beardsley, four-time All-American in Syracuse, and I've known him for a while. He was Charlie's club team coach, and he said, "Hey, I have a guy I think you might like." And I said, "Send me the video," and I trust Rick's eye. And I remember watching the video and texting him back saying, "Yeah, I love this kid."
Coach Morgan was great for me, but even more so leaning on the offense coaches, Kyle Smith and Brian Brazil. They were not only incredible coaches, but incredible mentors off the field. So I just remember having great conversations with them after practice in their office about how to lead in a better way. I feel like they were rarely critiquing my actual play in the practice rather than how it affected my teammates and how we could be better as a team. So I feel like I kind of took that pride in not only being a player, but what I was doing off the field, in the classroom, how I handled myself in the dining hall, how I respected my staff, how I respected my peers. And I think that went a long way for me, was taking the step there to not only embody what it meant to be a Merrimack lacrosse player, but outside of that, what it meant to be a student athlete on the campus and a leader in the locker room. I kind of wanted to challenge myself in a new way. I was incredibly grateful for the experience that I had at Merrimack, and felt like every year was a new challenge for me. And that last year being Division I, and looking ahead, I didn't know exactly what the next step would be for me. So I personally wanted to go challenge myself in a new level, and I decided to enter the transfer portal. It was a tough discussion to have with Coach Morgan. I think I might have caught him off guard a little bit for sure. And what I will say is I respect the coaching staff here so much because they're very black and white in how they run their program. Going through that process was weird because I only reached out to like 2 different schools via email. I was like, I don't want to be reaching out to everyone. There's only a handful of schools that I would actually leave Merrimack for because it's home to me. I love the guys there, and it'd be a really tough decision. So I'd need a school and an academic program that would really jump out at me. And I really wasn't getting many calls. And for the first couple weeks, I was like, maybe I'll just go back to Merrimack. And then I remember I was working out one day and actually got a call from Kip Turner at UVA. And we ended up setting up a couple of Zoom calls with their entire staff. And I really appreciated the way that they had already clipped my film, clipped their own film, talked about where I'd fit into their system, made me feel wanted and welcomed at UVA, and told me that I would be the only 5th year that they were offering to come to their program. For me, that opportunity was tough to turn down. And I remember before I committed, I actually called everyone that was on my team and everyone that I had played with, because I just wanted to explain my thought process. And the overwhelming support that I felt from my teammates meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me, and it made me realize I was making the right decision. So when I went ahead and called my coaches and let them know, it was a tough conversation and tough decision to make, but I think it was the best thing for me, and I was ready to take on a fully new experience.
When we come back, you'll hear more from Charlie on his journey from Division II all the way to the big stage with USA.
I didn't want to take a job that was going to pigeonhole me, and I was like, you know what? There's no better time to go full-time lacrosse than right now.
Thank you, Baldwinsville, and thank you, Merrimack, for creating the beast that is Charlie Bertrand. He'll have the opportunity to show what makes him great when he dons the red, white, and blue this summer in San Diego.
I found out about the tryout online and just applied like any other average Joe. I remember getting selected in May to go to the tryout, and actually my whole family was in Boston visiting, and when I got that email, I was pumped. Like I was like very excited that I even got the opportunity to go wear a penny and try out for Team USA. So I remember sharing that moment with my family.
And then I was driving one day and I got the text and he was like, I made Team USA. He's like, thank you for everything, blah, blah. So it was, it's a proud moment because, to make that team is, it's utterly impossible unless, for the most part, you're from one of these blue blood programs that have been around forever, and have a guy come out of Merrimack, a D2 program, into D1 at Merrimack, D1 at Virginia, to now be one of the best players in the world. We definitely are excited for him because he's earned it, he's worked really hard.
Looking at the summer that I had and the development through the PLL, gaining some confidence and being more of an on-ball presence again, which I really hadn't had since Merrimack. And then going through that tryout, and I believe staying consistent through it was incredible to look back at, where I was just excited to be there at the tryout, to where the last weekend of tryouts in that fall, December weekend, I thought I had a legitimate chance to make the team. I had sprained my PCL the first week in November in the NLL training camp. So I went into that last tryout coming off an injury, and it was actually my first time running around and moving, playing lacrosse in 6 weeks since I had injured my knee. So I didn't know what to expect. And for me, it was, I wasn't gonna let anything stop me from playing that day. I remember seeing the training staff, telling them I'm all good to go, no pain, and definitely was not productive out there in terms of a dodger, but I was able to find one goal, go in the back of the net on a man-up play in that December tryout, and was hoping that would be enough to push the barrier, but you definitely don't know with the type of talent that is at that tryout. So hearing my name called the next day was incredible. I couldn't believe that my lacrosse journey that took me from, I would say, an above average high school player had now had me on the field wearing a red, white, and blue penny with obviously a name and a country that means a lot to me and my family. I wear number 41 in honor of a great family friend of mine, Jim Smith. He was a Navy SEAL for many years, and his youngest son passed away and wore number 41. So now the fact that I'm going to be wearing number 41 USA jersey is going to mean a lot to them, I know, but it'll certainly mean a lot to my immediate family as well. That room Sunday morning that the coaches were in that was going to release the roster and have all the names up there on the screen, I've never been in such a tense room in my life before. And I know for me that the jitters and the anxiousness to see the reveal and see if you made it were feelings that I had never had before up to that point. The biggest team tryout that I've ever been on, and seeing my name get released on that board was surreal. I didn't believe it. I remember walking out of the room and I just didn't know what to say. And I remember just hugging all the other guys that made the team, and we kind of walked out on the patio to be outside and just take it all in. Rob Pennell there. Just having that relationship with him from the Redwoods has been great through this whole process to talk to him. I know Tom Schreiber is widely regarded as one of the best players in the world, and not only that, but he's one of the best guys in the league. And I reached out to him this spring just to have a phone call and hear some advice from him, and he was very willing and open about his process and gave me some great advice. Honestly put my nerves down a little bit because I may have been overthinking my training and such going into that. So it's great to hear from these guys and almost have them just be like relax and enjoy it more so than this is going to be the hardest thing you ever do. Even though at the same time, you know, it's a mix of the two of those. Very cool to meet these guys that you play against for a year or two in the PLL, but mainly you were watching playing on TV, especially coming from a Division II level. I hadn't played many of these guys that I play against now professionally. So meeting these guys in the locker room like Blaze and Sowers and just seeing that they're very good dudes, down to earth. I think Blaze is a guy that kind of takes control of the room. Certainly a great personality, a great goalie, and also a great indoor forward, which is obviously very unique in itself. But he's a very funny guy. And when I look at Michael Sowers, after watching him play for years and knowing the talent that he is, he just came off as a very humble and good, kind person. It's going to be very easy to be teammates with them this summer. I want to be the most consistent player on the field. I want to make sure that I'm supporting my teammates in any way possible. I want to be a guy that can get a goal when we need it, but also a guy that can help the flow of the offense a bit, draw slides, move the ball, be a guy that can set picks and cut inside as well. Playing for Team USA this summer, I think, is going to be the pinnacle of my lacrosse career, and it's going to mean the most to me in terms of putting on the jersey and playing selflessly and for a cause and a purpose that's much bigger than yourself.
It sounds like Charlie is motivated more than ever to show out in San Diego. When we return, we'll hear from one of the most pivotal figures in making these World Championships a reality.
Winning a gold medal is why they're all competing. It's in part why we do what we do from a national team perspective. But I'm equally as concerned about representing the team, representing your country, and representing this organization to the best of your ability.
Whether it's playing midfield or down on attack, Charlie Bertrand will fill any role necessary to help USA keep gold on home soil. Someone who knows a thing or two about filling multiple roles is USA Lacrosse CEO Mark Riccio. We had the opportunity to speak with him about the initiatives that USA Lacrosse is pushing in preparation for and beyond the World Championships.
To have it on home soil is, we're very grateful for that opportunity to showcase the games here in the States. I would strongly believe my affection for my hometown is no different than every one of these players on this roster. Every one of these players beams with pride when they talk about home. For me, home sits at the center of how lacrosse was very good to me. Our great strength is our lacrosse community. It is welcoming, it is dynamic, it is something really special. You know, the spiritual and native roots of this game, the creator's game, gifted to us by the Native Americans, is part of that origin story, and that makes this community so special. The national team's high performance team has done a great job so far. We certainly have high expectations and high hopes for a gold medal. But the reality is the outcome is uncertain.
And the Americans win!
Certainly I would assume we're going to be one of the favored nations as defending world champion. But Canada's awesome. Haudenosaunee, awesome. Japan is going to be the next great international competitive nation in lacrosse. So you just never know. Hope we give them a run for their money, I should say. I'm certainly excited to see them. And I'm excited to see who surprises us. There's always going to be a nation that kind of steps forward and like, whoa, didn't see that coming. They're pretty good. And that's going to be exciting to watch.
1, 2, 3, USA!
Success for Team USA, first and foremost, is going out, competing, playing hard, playing the right way, representing your country and your teammates to the best of your ability. Beyond that, ultimately, success is a gold medal, is a world championship. There isn't a player or coach or even person in this building who would answer differently. If you go out and you lose, but you lose with your head held high and you left everything on the field as a player and as a person, it's all we can ask for.
Charlie is one of just 23 players that will get the honor to go to battle for U.S. Men's Lacrosse National Team this summer. We'd like to thank Charlie, Merrimack College, and our gracious sponsors for allowing us the opportunity to tell his story. For more information on how you can support USA Lacrosse and begin your own journey on the field, head over to usalacrosse.com. On behalf of USA Lacrosse and NLSE, I'm your host, Pete Medhurst. Join us here next time for another origin story on the next episode of Home Soil.